In 20XX is a journey into an evolving future. Based on hard science, this series depicts a world of rapidly changing technology. The world changes with each episode. I use text to speech to make the podcast because doing so frees up more time for me to focus on research and content creation. I want to bring to you as much of this future world as I can with the time I have. Rate the show so others can find it. Cautionary listening is advised.
Detroit remains underpowered. Salvagers find robots and computers they could put to work, except power is hard to find, and without power, the bots won't work. So most robots and computers remain off, and people do a majority of the work. Alicia twists and pulls mushrooms from slop. A gutter punk who cleaned up her act decades ago, she wears a black vinyl vest under her clear Enviro-suit. If she didn't dye her frizzy hair black, it would show strands of gray. The clear fabric of her bell hood fogs in front of her mouth. With her hardened expression, she helps in a mushroom farm. Hand-built shelves hold assorted trays of sludge where the mushrooms grow. It takes 12 people to run this farm on the second floor of a bank building. The sludge comes from plant waste scavengers separate from plastics and other reusable material. This floor, and two others above, remain inhabitable, surrounded by layers of detritus. A sedimentary pattern presses against the windows. The glass is made of sheets of two-dimensional material. If they were silica, they'd have been blown out by the first winds of world storm. People can't get to floors above the 5th floor. Connected cams outside show a 40-story building bent, folded, and leaning against other tumbled high-rises. Up there, the winds can suck you out and away in a split second. Up there is death. Though this floor once offered nice views of city streets, it can be considered subterranean now. Drafts pass through, and rivulets from the rains stream over support columns and bare floor, but worse flooding occurs below. Many families work on the 2nd floor. A nearby family turns wood fiber into sugar, and yet another uses methane-consuming microbes to grow protein-rich bars that are great if you don't mind the strong taste. They're called families. But really they're people who've grouped together to share work and resources. The place gets busy at midnight and empties before midday when everyone retreats to cool tents lower underground to sleep. No one sees the day and night cycle here. They see with AR night vision, wear LED lights, or bring lamps. Many wear clothes that light up interactively to illuminate the surroundings. Entire areas of fabric glow. Bands of light surround heads. Shoes and pant legs shine to brighten the path. As long as someone's canal link still works, and they wear a pair of AR. Glasses' Wi-Fi sensing enables AR-enhanced vision. When links broadcast radio waves, they analyze how those waves bounce back, and they analyze all other incoming waves. Lynx paints what it finds on the scene. In this way, people can see through walls. If a dangerous animal lurks nearby, it shows up in their AR, in vibrant colors. The shapes may not be as defined as they'd be in natural daylight vision, but with labels the Wi-Fi way of seeing far surpasses. Lynx don't show every insect, but they will show a snake slithering under shelving. They won't show every rat, but they will show a rat that acts rabid. Alicia empties a handful of sausage-flavored and textured mushrooms into a bag tied to her hip. Her suit sounds like a hospital respirator as it sucks air in, cools it, and pushes it through tubes. George started this farm. A self-sustainer, he knows how to grow mushrooms of all varieties that offer complete nourishment. She particularly likes the ones that taste and feel like shrimp. Every day, her gratitude to George for letting her into this family drives her to work as hard as she can, refining the sludge, spreading the sludge, and planting the pellets. When it's time to eat, she takes very little for herself. The others in the group notice but have no comment. She has never felt such deep gratitude as she does to George and the others who never act like they want to kick her out. When the room feels like a furnace, when bugs crawl over the gnome hats, or when heavy rains make deep puddles, her gratitude, the force of her gratitude, drives her forward to keep working. Elda has been especially kind to her, and they work side by side most days. Elda likes to talk. She adjusts her headlamp as she leans into the shelf. I love my kids. They're both grown now and surviving the storm. They're good kids. Kids become good people either by following good examples or by seeing the bad in their parents and deciding never to be like them. I said I'd never be fat like my mom, and my daughter told me she'd never be skin and bones like me. That's all right. I just hope they remember me as always wanting them to be their true selves, even though Jan is a strip dancer and Jeff collects ladies' underwear. Mind you, he never took any of my underwear, thank Root. But I always like to think they learned to be good because of me, and not in spite of me, if you know what I mean. Elda always points her ass at George the way a cat would. Whenever George walks by, there goes Elda's ass. Hours can go by when Alicia realizes Elda has been talking the whole time, including quoting long passages from books. Alicia's never met someone who's memorized an entire book before. That's impressive. That's the kind of thing people used to do before BF apps. Elda dumps a basket of mushrooms into a larger basket and points at Sprout. I think your son relieved himself. Alicia turns around, gasps, and kneels next to Sprout, who sits on the floor. His legs stick out from his Enviro jacket and his pants are stained. Through her air filter, she can smell it. Oh, Sprout, let's have a look at you. Did you go number 2? Elda's pet bird hops by, picks up a mushroom Alicia has dropped, and brings it to her. Sprout grins and crawls after the bird, causing it to drop the mushroom and hop away. Sprout's stuffed bag of things falls over and an old phone case, a hair roller, and a bike handle fall out. Oh, look at my bird! So smart! These birds are so much smarter than cats or even dogs. And I think their brains are smaller. Why didn't more people have birds as pets before the storm? Sprout smiles and his gaze drifts, never locking onto anything. Sitting, he rights his bag and carefully returns the items. The bird leaps and flaps up to Elda's outstretched arm, where it places the mushroom in her basket and lifts its head for a pet. It squawks, and Sprout perfectly imitates the squawk. It chirps, and again Sprout produces the same sounds exactly. The bird turns its head left and right to look at him with either eye. Elda holds her knuckles to the bird, and it rubs its beak across them, leaving residue of bug meat behind. You know you can tell birds are dinosaurs when you look at these. Look at the shape of her head, like a T-Rex. You're a little dino, aren't you? Ah. Alicia digs in a bag for some pants. Elda lifts her arm so the bird flies off. She leans over a tray to continue picking. How old is your son? He's 31. Elda pauses while pulling a mushroom. Oh, you're a strong mom. I mean, you have to be. But you're stronger than most, and that's even counting the fact that we all survived what's killed off nearly everything. It's really, really amazing how strong we all are. Alicia holds a stoic expression as she takes Sprout's arm to guide him to stand. Welcome all. We do this with audio only, so personality will take a back seat and you, the listener, can focus on the content, not the delivery. There was a time when all live broadcasts were audio only. They called it radio. I'm kidding, I'm sure you know about radio. Anyway, we have a lot to cover tonight. Let's start out with reports of graffiti that says, "Thrive kills" appearing on walls in, let's say, the most public spaces. Now I know this doesn't seem that serious. I've seen graffiti that says money kills, police kill, and punctuality kills, just to name a few. Anyway, there seems to be lots of people are taking these messages seriously, and that's why I ask you, fellow survivor, to join this chat and give a little of yourself. Okay, let's hear from Zadie first. Zadie, tell us what you think. In the background, a wind whistles as a femme speaks. Hi, Wade. So I don't live near many Thrive users, but I travel each day into Brush Park. It's where lots of them live, and the people I talk to who aren't on Thrive have a superstitious fear of the AI. It reminds me of old-time superstitions like Thrive is the village witch or village shaman, or you know what I mean? Wade says, can you give some examples of why people feel this way? I mean, like I said, I don't live around there, so I don't have first-hand experience. This is just hearsay. But I hear coincidences pile up. Okay, so Detroit has no police, and we non-Thrive users are supposed to be able to work alongside them and all that. But people are afraid of getting in a dispute with Thrive members, Wade interjects. Do you know of any incidences that contribute to this public sentiment? She says, I don't know. After a silence, Wade says, Okay, thank you, Zadie. Brian, you say that you were chased out by Thrive? Or wait, let's hear from the other side of this debate first. Keys, you're a Thrive user? A man's voice creaks. Yes, I am. I have to say, I'm super pro-Humes over AI. Before the storm, I marched for jobs and give the economy back to the people. I take it very seriously. All my neighbors use Thrive, and most of my dealing are in app. But I must tell you, it never asked me to take justice into my hands on its behalf. Like, I have never heard of anyone, not anyone, being asked to settle a dispute with non-members. If I ever got wind of such an occurrence, I'd be very vocal about it. I might quit Thrive. Wade holds off from laughing so he can speak. Do you know why people are scared? Keys clears his throat. Look, people are always clansy about outsiders. Wade says, Is that all? You won't find any cases of Thrive handling justice issues and disputes. You will never find someone who confesses to being a spy for Thrive or being asked to counteract an injustice or counteract a crime or murder or anything like that. Don't you think if that were the case, we'd have online accounts of members talking about taking out a hit for Thrive? Because that's what we're talking about, am I right? The AI organizes people to get survival work done, that is all. It's based on Jobs Navigator, the worldwide app that never caused such issues. Remember? People now use the North End Underground Rail Yard to repair robots and build new robots from parts. Throughout the yard, bail block walls section off shops run by individuals. Everyone pays a small fee each month for 12 site security officers. Each officer brings a pit bull with them on patrol. The roboticists make a great variety of weird bots from parts. Tall bots that can step over people, stepping jack lifts, walking work platforms when combined, can make scaffolding, bots with legs that extend from above that can walk fast, snake-armed bots, segmented robots like ants, centaur bots with 4 legs and a humanoid front, small bots that can extend to stand as tall as people, autono carts with legs instead of wheels for better travel through water, exoskeleton suits that can function as standalones. All of these are hacked together, and no two are the same. The fixers, hackers, and assemblers feel the pressure to learn more every day. Unexpected salvaged parts are puzzles to solve. Getting 2 parts from 2 different companies to get along in the same robot is more an art than a science. Old tech fails in new ways every day, and these hackers race to keep up, learning new ways to fix. If one technician can't make a part useful, it goes in the commons pile where someone who can make use of it finds it. Over the ping 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 of hammer strikes, the rattle of power drivers, and the hiss of welders, men and femmes shout. Mirror Ryvac trainer. I need a Mirror Ryvac trainer by Huiai. Anyone? I've got filament. I know you need it. Does anyone know how to break a Tranner 450 cloud key? Bug traps are emptied into a community microwave fryer. Anyone and everyone grabs a bag of toasted insects to munch on along with complimentary shroon calf that everyone insists tastes like real coffee. If someone upgrades part or all of their Enviro-suit, they can sell the old one here. Everett purchases them, cleans them, and makes repairs, so he can sell them for more. The easiest upgrade is putting in new tubes that feed cool air to different areas inside each garment. A scrapper who pulls pseudo-superconductor wire from cables gives Everett tubes for free. These he can puncture holes in to turn them into cool air delivery tubes. His glasses look bulky on his face. He's light-framed, and when he stands, his shoulders line up right over his hips. He squints whenever he's thinking hard, which is often. When he's working, he'll mutter the same little lines to himself, like, "Let's wrap this up," or "Not too fast, now." Though he's starved and nearly died of heat stroke, he still looks a lot less battered and beaten by a hard life than others. Everett lives in a train car inside a walled yard where he sells his suits. Decorations hang on the train car retrofitted to hold cool air. Sitting at a table, he replaces the battery on a heat pump reclaimed from a car seat. He wears the best Enviro-suit in the yard, printed at the production center only a few months ago and sold to him after the person who first purchased it was found dead. Pats, sitting next to Everett, spreads out parts of a suit on the table and scrubs it with a small brush and soap. Pat's been genetically treated so that all the hairs on his body grow the same length, 1 centimeter, giving him what's called cat fur head. His face looks older than his hair. Clusters of wrinkles fan out from his eyes and mouth. He wears bug-eye half-sphere glasses, a style popular with his generation. Everett places wires in mag soldering pliers. You know, I was pretty rich before the storm. All my money came from a job I had for almost 5 years at a data center. I used to monitor nuclear power generators, each the size of a shipping container. Like, exactly the size of a shipping container. Those old servers were hecka hungry for power. He sucks through closed lips. Pats makes a big smile. Too bad we can't get to them. What's worth more than power? It was you who taught me that. Everett squints. Well, technically we could get to them. I mean, there are maybe several blocks that way. He points behind himself. They are underground, but I mean, someone's gotten to them by now, for sure. Pats tucks his head. Are you suggesting we should? Please let me know. Where you go, I follow. Weeks later, a door made of encased mycrete swings open, and the two step into a dark room carrying lanterns. Their lights land on dozens of reactors stacked too high. Untouched by the storm of floods, the room seems impossibly clean. Everett wanders in. I can't believe it. They look untouched. We'll need to shut off outgoing power. We wouldn't want a bunch of juice flooding a grid with short circuits and exposed wires. Pats dances behind Everett. We're gonna make bank. You thought you were rich before. This is worth more than anything. Everett holds his stomach. Wow, yes, ha ha, brother, we're going to be rich. Alicia wakes with a bad cough. She rolls over in the cool tent, buries her face in a towel, and hacks until she's bound up in a tight ball. This is bad. This is way bad. She's had illnesses before, but this is different. Whatever she has, her instincts tell her this is fatal. She needs to consider that her end may come soon. Folding the towel, she rolls to the other side to check on Sprout. His eyes remain closed, and he snores at the end of each inhale. He's larger than her now, much larger. His cherub face never shows spite or malice. It's not herself she needs to worry about, it's him. She asks the dreaded question, what will happen to him if she passes? The fear that follows drowns out all other fears. She would give up her life right now if it ensured he lives on. She shakes him awake. Sprouty, sweetie, wake up. She leads them through their morning routine. They leave their tent and the locker cage and climb down a ladder to the road. Hundreds of stacked locker cages line one wall in a drain trench that runs under a buried road. Others do the same, and people walk down the road path. Water drips everywhere. One long, streaming puddle covers the floor. Meager lamps, large and small, stationary or pinned to people, bring just enough light to allow her to switch off AR, night vision. They both wear hooded cool ponchos. She holds his meaty hand as they walk. When she must stop to cough, he seems as tall as a tree to her, though he teeters like a child. What a beautiful person, her son. What an amazing human being. What can she do? She must find a way, as impossible as it seems. All over Detroit, groups find each other. Masses join the new floating internet. Explorers map underground mazes. People clear utility tubes and subroads. Some passages become major routes between camps. Former co-op members and self-sustainer groups reunite. More and more, people travel between different neighborhoods, thousands and thousands of people. Since Alicia and Sprout have lived here, twice as many people walk this road, it being the main route from Baker Shelter to North Point Park Station. Alicia stops and bends over to hack. She planned to put a cloth under her hood to do this, but doesn't have time. The cough grabs onto her like a seizure. She almost falls over. Sprout continues to walk forward in the moving crowd. No, no, she tries to reach for him without falling over. If she coughs any harder, her eyes will pop out of her head. Something substantial in her chest disconnects and shifts. After a few minutes, she can stand again. To her great relief, Sprout stands about 10 paces away, facing her and looking down as those passing brush against him. Like a stone in a river, he remains still. When they get to the farm, Alicia inwardly fights herself not to cry. Don't you cry! Stop it! Stop it! When the others are far enough away, Elda says, Alicia, what's the matter? You gotta tell someone! Alicia shakes. I'm scared. I'm afraid I'm going to die and leave that angel all alone. We're all alone. I don't have anyone to look after him. She grabs Elda's shirt. Could you? Would you look after my baby when I die? Elda's expression turns bitter. She backs away and pulls Alicia's hand off her shirt. Oh, no, no, I can't. I'm too old. I'm sorry. There's no way. I simply can't take something like that on. Elda hurries out of the building and Alicia cries until George asks her to go home and rest for a day, or how many days it takes. When Alicia and Sprout return in 2 days, Elda hasn't come back, but George takes her aside. Alicia says, I understand if we can't be part of this family anymore. George points and leads her. It's not that. Once they're alone in a smaller room, he says, Have you heard of Thrive? Of course she has. Someone on Thrive sold them the cool tent. People on Thrive will attempt to perform medical procedures and make advanced repairs. A cloud of fear talk surrounds her knowledge of the app. He lowers his voice. Did you know I use Thrive? She turns her head one way and then the other way, keeping her eyes on him. He says, Now listen, it gets a bad rap. I'm on it, so I won't get ripped off when I sell my mushes. I'm not in a cult like people say. Many days I don't use it. Just don't tell the others. She nods once. He grabs her arm. I overheard you, and I'm just going to spit it out. I think Sprout should use Thrive. She pulls her arm back. No, no, no. He's even more vulnerable. I could never let my baby get turned into a meat robot. He bows. It's not like that. Thrive is like a friend, like a helper. Don't you have an assist? Thrive is basically an assist. Have you ever heard of Jobs Navigator? One and the same? Her lips twist. I'll think it over, George. Can I do some work today? His face remains lowered. Sure. Wanda walks through what used to be a sewer junction, hugging her new appliance to her chest. Before the storm, she'd gotten custody of her 2 kids. Just 2 days with her kids when the storm struck. Her having them with her saved their lives for sure. But the mystery child disease took first Jorny and then Relvine. Other parents grieve departed children more than she does, but can anyone blame her? She hardly had any time with them, all because she wanted to data farm them when it turns out 3 out of 4 families data farmed their kids. She wavers on her path. Her big cool boots make her legs look skinny, and so does the hooded cool poncho she wears. The sewer lines were some of the first throughways to get isolated from floodwaters and now serve as some of the cleanest, busiest lines of traffic. That sewers were made to hold water in makes them perfect for holding floodwaters out. People avoid the risks other throughways pose because flash floods can fill those places in minutes. Wanda picks up her pace. She has her brand spanking new device to try out. How she's sweated the last few months to afford this thing, newly made, not out of salvaged parts, but printed at the production center. A crowd gathers in a fork in the tube and she pushes through them. 2 alerts pop up over men, one on the left and one on the right. She makes sure to avoid them. She did plan to uninstall Thrive from her link once she got this appliance, but as a side benefit, Thrive points out to her who she can and can't trust. As a femme, this has saved her a lot of grief. She feels pulled in 2 ways because she hates the idea of being an AI's puppet, but must admit that it improves her quality of life. The tube she walks ascends on a slope. Those passing her going down, pulled by gravity, walk faster. She and the others climbing the slope walk slower. Foul air ahead. Your suit is switching to air reserves. Do not take off your hood. The Enviro-suit she wears was also made at the production center. A femme with no link sewed her old one, which was basically a plastic bag with refrigerator and hairdryer parts blasting cool air at her back. Her new suit, besides dispersing cool air, filters air, controls air moisture, and has an emergency mode for temperature spikes. She knows because once the temperature shot up and the suit puffed up with supercooled gas, she shivered as her legs baked. But she made it to safety while those around her didn't fare as well. She saw 10 people collapse that day. Near her home, she waits in line to climb the ladder out of the sealed tubes. She attaches straps and puts her new device on her back like a backpack. A young guy waiting in line also wears one on his back. He glances at her, gives a light smile, and nods. Yeah, these are the shit. She's joined a club of some of the first to use this tech. She lives in a bale block studio built over 2 lower floors of bale block homes. The unit is hers because she has a spec-size key chip embedded in her thumb skin. The key grants her and only her access to the room. She bought the room and key with coins, yes, old-world solid coins. A penny is worth $100. People can print old-world coin lookalikes, but AI vision can tell the fakes from the real. Anyone with connected spectroscopy, Wi-Fi, LiDAR, visible light cams can check the validity of old-world coins. She climbs a ladder to the narrow walkway. The units rest against two parallel walls. The walls extend upward for many stories. Between two downtown skyscrapers, this vast space received waste heat from servers before the storm. Computers don't dump heat into this space anymore, but it's as hot as when they did. The two walls show the unpolished core material of skyscrapers, mycrete pore sections bearing composite pegs as big as fists. The team that built the bail block units stacked them 5 high. Catwalks lead to the doors. The catwalks on the units lining the opposite wall are so close that daring people jump between them. On the 3rd-level catwalk, she avoids looking down. 5 people stand on the catwalk in front of a door. Her AR throws up error alert bubbles pinned to each of the people. Warning! Identity scrambled! She stops several meters back from them. They have a look at her and keep talking. Alerts pop up. Marked for theft. Marked for inciting fights. Marked for shoplifting. Should she go back the way she came and try getting to her door coming from the other way? That will take at least 20 minutes. Wait, they seem to be going into the unit they're standing in front of. One guy looks at her like he's expecting her to come forward. But no way is she going to approach. She takes a step back. He shakes his head, laughs, and turns to follow the others through the door, leaving the catwalk clear. She passes quickly. When she reaches her door, it hisses. She pulls it open, enters, and pulls it shut to keep the cool air in. Closed inside, her little home is her nest, her safety zone, her comfort. The walls were unfinished when she moved in, but she's put screen paper on the ceiling and walls. Most often, she plays rolling clouds on the paper. Like most homes, hers is one room, period. Her kitchen is a freestanding cabinet. Her toilet, sponge bath basin, and sink are also freestanding. She removes her Enviro-suit, changes the battery on the heat pump, and sets her new device on the table in front of the couch to have a look at it. Someone knocks at her door. An AR pop-up shows a femme looking up. The whites of her eye show under her pupils. Has something gone wrong with the cam? The footage looks textured. The femme has a vulnerable twinkle in her eye. Wanda opens the door. Yes? Bodies brush her aside as the room fills with the same group she saw on the catwalk. The one femme, rather short, and 6 men all wear tube warrior outfits that seem popular post-storm. They leave the door open, and the room heats up. The femme steps over to Wanda's new device. Oh, here it is. I've heard so much about these. Wanda backs up against a wall. I'm on Thrive. The man closest to her steps forward, reaches back, swings, and strikes her across the face. Shut up! Her glasses fly off. She shrinks. Her world spins. That came out of nowhere. Surprise and shock erase thoughts in her mind before they can form. The femme works the knobs on the machine. Her face is completely covered with tiny scars. The way I roll, bad marks on Thrive does me good. The man who hit her, a youth, says, What is that thing? The femme looks up at him for several seconds. Rugner, get ready for the news. This thing makes a food. It's like meat brew machines, but not so fussy. Have you ever tried to use one of those? Your batch can go bad and then you have to take the whole thing apart and clean it. Also, you have to get starter batches. This baby, on the other hand, only needs some creme. Rugner moves his head forward and back. Oh, I've heard of it, the femme continues. Some creme and some organics. The creme can be a finished product, but raw is better than cooked. And it cleans as it goes. See, I think this container is where the impurities get pooped out. The men laugh. Look at this thing. Creme can be turned into bread, meat, cheese, even candy. Just dial in what you want. Rugner eases his feet apart where he stands. How do they do it? It's just like yeast meats, only more advanced. Say goodbye to Sam's meat. Creme is the new food. Say hello to pies and pasta and cheese sauce, yum. A man behind the others says, You need a battery for that machine. The femme gives a knowing smile. The one in that cooling unit should fit. Wanda holds her arms loosely with a lowered head. The group leaves, taking the creme maker, her most valuable battery, and, she'll later discover, a box of disposable underwear. When she picks her AR glasses off the floor, Thrive is there for her with profiles of the crooks, public notices for rewards for returning the stolen goods to her, so on and so forth. She knew Thrive is only smoke and mirrors against hard reality. Sprout walks down subway line B. Because of an imperfect facial hair removal treatment a decade ago, long strands of beard hair extend from his face and stick to the inside of his clear bell hood. The glowing spots on his suit dim as he walks under lamps. His cool shoes splash in 2 centimeters of water on the ground. A dog cat, cornered by a cat dog, yowls and screeches. Bale block buildings line either side of the 4-track tunnel, either 1 or 2-story. Sometimes someone comes out of or goes into one of these work-live buildings. One femme pulls a wagon of scrap that she'll need to make AR visors for people who can't get a hold of AR glasses. Rolls of clear hollow screen and various programmable display units are some of the items in the cart. Thick bale block walls, sometime a meter thick, insulate and allow for cool, filtered air, so people stay home when they can. They open shop by posting signs on their home like hidden defense weapons, no questions asked, premium water filters, fresh grown, and salvage tools made here. Piles of clutter intermix with piles of usable scrap. Sprout totters as he walks, and his eyes seemingly remain stuck in a downcast gaze, wearing his mother's AR glasses. An apparition, a figure who resembles his mother, floats before him. She holds her arms out at her sides as if she might step forward and hug him. Okay, my sweet, just keep walking down this road. People may try to talk to you, but you don't need to talk back or stop. You can keep moving. It's perfectly okay. A femme climbs down from a hut built on block homes. Sir, you look lonely. Do you have a friend in these parts? Wearing a cool suit made from an old refrigerator bag, structure wire, and a portable cooler heat pump worn on a belt, she jogs up to him and touches his arm. At the same time, she realizes he has a condition and stops to let him continue. Oh, how have you survived? Oh, my. Sprout continues to walk. Thrive as the maternal figure says, You are so busy today. How grown up you are. We'll find you a yummy reward you for walking so far. Follow the blue arrow. He leaves the subway, walks down a hall, through a utility corridor crowded with pipes, and reaches a street-wide floodway. Here, many people take up bags of dirt and garbage and haul them to the corridor from which Sprout came. Water constantly gushes down this canal under I-beams. The people here are building a dam so they can generate power. As Sprout comes closer, Thrive speaks to many of the others. The young man arriving is autistic. His speech is limited, but he can work. Please show him kindness and don't be put off by his behavior. His name is Sprout, and he likes a friendly compliment. At the same time, maternal avatar Thrive, hovering close to Sprout, says, Okay, Sprout, now you can help these kind people. This is a game you can win. The more you help, the more treat points you win. I'll show you how many treat points you win as you work. First, I want you to pick up that big bag. Follow the arrow to see the bag. Yes. Now bend down and pick it up. Yes. Now take it with you and follow my arrow. Thar's right. Good. Good job. A man wearing a bright 360 lamp on his head holds up a hand. Hi, Sprout. Glad you could help out. 2 femmes carrying bags both smile as he passes. Hi, Sprout. Thanks for coming. One worker, seeing Sprout haul, waves an arm in his direction. See? That proves my point. If Thrive can take care of a mentally handicapped person, what can it do? Bow down to the new god. A femme mixing my crete watches Sprout. You didn't believe me when I said Thrive was taking some of my income and planning for my retirement. You believe me now? Hi, Sprout. Good job, buddy. The first says, Do you think Thrive is putting some of his income toward retirement? I don't see why not. Everett loses control of his new business from the start. Depleted batteries can be gotten with little effort and at no cost. For a few years, people have salvaged batteries only to use their remaining power and then discard them. Dead batteries, some as large as suitcases, pile up near wherever people live. After getting batteries and charging them, He and Pat's hand-haul carts loaded with charged batteries to the robot rebuild center. They exchanged the batteries for some follow carts and 2 humanoid handybots. All is well, but on their way back, Assist continues to tell them that they're being followed. Confused and scared, they wander down random tubes hoping their pursuance will lose interest. In an unlit tube where pooled water covers their feet and the foul smell gets past their Enviro-suits filtration, 3 men approach them from the rear. They call out, "Hey, hey you, where are you going?" Everett pulls a pair of pliers out of his pocket. "Don't say anything." Pats absurdly says, "We aren't going anywhere." The 3 men enter the light cast by Everett and Pats's lamps. They look malnourished and dirty, and their Enviro-suits are cobbled together bits and pieces of discarded Enviro-suits. "Where'd you get the power to charge all those batteries?" Everett turns around and bumps into a wet wall. "Hold on. Hold on." Pats raises his arms. "Take the bots." The nearest man grunts. "What?" Pats gestures at a container standing on 2 legs. "You can have a follow cart." Everett frowns at Pats. The men start to laugh, but their laughter sounds troubled and aching. "We want to know where you got the power from." The nearest edges closer. The other 2 hold back. One looks around and picks up a rock. Pats takes off running, splashing water as he goes. "I'll go get the others." Everett freezes. Others? What others? Did his partner just abandon him to fend off 3 attackers on his own? That stings. The would-be thieves jump around and shout at each other. The nearest one barks, "Go get him! Go get him!" The other 2 chase Pats. Everett air gestures as he tries to pull up the handy bot's GUI. Both bots jerk into maintenance position. "What are you doing? Stop that!" The man stomps up to Everett. He stinks like a corpse. The man shoves Everett, but it comes off weakly. "Don't get confident, Everett. This scrawny dude is desperate. A mad dog can take down a general." "Why don't you take the bots? You can get a lot for them." The man lunges at Everett, but Everett dodges. They dance around in circles as the man attacks, and Everett jumps out of the way. The man gets out of breath and heaves as he pants. Gaps in his Enviro-suit must be letting in a lot of baking air. At once, Everett takes off running back the way they came. He quickly gains distance from the man who yells furiously, "Get the grok back here! I know where you live! I'll hunt you down!" The follow carts pass the man as they keep up with Everett. But the 2 handy bots remain in maintenance standstill. A rock flies right by his head. An hour later, from an area of Detroit Everett has never been to before, he touches the side of his glasses. "Bring up big map." He now stands on an AR map showing people the size of mice walk through a spreading tangle of tunnels. Fastest route home. He heads toward the power site. He's rich, but he can't cash in without becoming a target. Pats calls. "How's it going?" "You abandoned me." "I split us up. It was the best move. I had 2 of them chasing me. You only had 1. You got to admit I did the right thing. Were we going to fight them?" Everett says nothing, and after a few minutes, Pats drops off the call. They trade recharged batteries more covertly. One of them, usually Pats, will trade 1 battery at a time, preferably with a vendor who doesn't know them. 1 battery trade a day seems safe enough. This drastically constricts the amount of power they could be selling, but it'll have to do. They search for and seal off all but 1 tunnel to the nuclear reactors. For nearly 4 months, they do nothing but build mycrete block walls, 12 in total, inside halls and service tubes. In the last open tube, they set up 4 automated gates, 2 chain-link gates, and 2 solid impact-resistant composite gates. Setting up robots to deliver, sell, and pick up batteries was supposed to be fun, an engineering challenge, but from day 1, bastards follow their bots. And those who find the gates attempt to break through. He and Pats are nearly taken over a few times. Ordering bots to kill troubles Everett to the core. He can't sleep more than a couple of hours at a time, and his appetite isn't what it used to be. Food tastes bland, no matter how much he dials up the flavor. Now he feels sorry for the war the production center has to uphold just to stay in business. Setting up autono shooters, warning signs, and nanowire traps slows the robbers down, but he and Pat started this whole thing wrong and can't go back to start over. It makes his stomach turn. He had to set up 1 robot just to inspect all the other bots for tracking devices, and He wears guns, plural. Not a gun, guns. One group or gang now tries to destroy his delivery bots out of the gate to starve him out. Pat says to get some AI on it. He knows several emulated personalities who should be up for the task. Don't hire Humes. Humes are the worst. There is a chance that an AI may have an alignment issue at some point, but all people are guaranteed to have alignment issues on day one. Strange advice coming from his one Hume partner. Do you even hear yourself? We just hire some guards. When this place was open, the guard on my floor brought me coffee each morning. His kids said hi when they came here after school so he could take them home. Have you ever worked at a place that hired people? The worst thing most Humes do is steal toilet paper out of the bathroom. I trust you don't? Are you in alignment with my needs? Pats examines the tips of his cool gloves. People stole toilet paper? I thought it was free. Everett sighs. It was. No, they took whole rolls home, to use at home. Never mind. So Everett vets and hires 12 security warriors who work outside the 4 Autono gates. They spot the delivery bots, keep tubes clear, and put some Hume faces on the ground to discourage thieves. Everett can finally focus on the mechanical aspects of the operation. He fine-tunes the robot network and Autono systems. He builds 4 public recycle bays where people can earn micropayments for leaving off spent batteries. For these, he mods some old pay-to-dump trash containers. Soon he may get around to getting a second nuclear generator running. In the meantime, one provides more than double the power that he can use to charge the batteries and keep his robots running. Everett hardly interacts with the security team. They never come inside the gates, and Pats goes out to interact with them most of the time, though Everett can always watch what each of them are doing on live cams they wear. They fight with thieves once or twice a week. Everyone gets used to it. One day, Pats calls. I just assigned one guard as lead guard. Everett continues to work with his head inside a control cabinet. Okay, I guess that's a good idea. Pat seems more cheerful than usual. You should come and meet him. He has leadership potential. You were talking about getting more people in charge of selling? Everett eases out of the cabinet. Yeah? You think he'd be good at that? Yeah. When Everett gets outside the gates, Pats and the lead guard walk toward him. Pats grins. This is Rugner. We were just talking about a bar he knows. A night spot. Can you believe there's a night spot? How the 3 of us should go, have some drinks. Rugner looks young, a mere kid, but his casual smile puts Everett at ease right away. As Sprout carries a sack full of dripping gravelly mud, he mumbles, hungry. Thrive says to the others in the dam building team, the man named Sprout will go and eat. He may return. If he passes you, let him know he's welcome to come back. The others know they'll get micropayments for helping with Sprout. In this case, people are being paid for being kind, but in this case, they're empowering a worker to contribute to everyone's wealth. To Sprout, Thrive says, okay, sweetie, time to eat. Let's go get some yummy lunch. You can set the bag down. Good. Now follow the arrow in front of you. It will lead you to yummy food, sweetie. As he walks down the platform that parallels the water canal and passes others, they smile and say things like, thanks for your help, Sprout. Have a good lunch, big man. See you again. Sprout doesn't respond. His arms hardly move as he walks. Thrive leads him to floor D of the auto garage under what used to be the Eagle Investments building. The floor is packed with so-called families who work where they live. Many have made work homes by staking insulated bale walls from floor to ceiling. They coat the tightly packed trash plastics blocks with Mycrete stucco. Thrive has guided the layout so the halls between houses are well spaced and don't lead to dead ends. This is a Thrive hotspot, so activity is buzzing. Most everyone uses Thrive, and the result can't be denied. The halls remain clean, well lit, and welcoming. Each house has space in front to put out signs advertising what they make for sale. There is even a sign maker on this floor who makes paint from scratch and paints lettering with agile motion. People here act well toward each other and trust each other. The collective attitude is guided individualism. Thrive helps each person find what they're good at and use those abilities to win monetary awards. It may look like capitalism to the untrained eye, but some call it more extreme than communism. No one is forced to work, but those who don't take advantage of the guided effort can find themselves starving, dying of thirst, or dying of heat exposure. That's right, Sprout, just ahead. Do you see the sign with a picture of a bowl on it? That's a bowl of stew. Walk up to the sign. Good. To the store owner, Thrive says, I'm bringing a customer to you who has autism. He hardly speaks and won't engage with you very much. Give him a large bowl of cherry mushroom stew. Do you have any creme bread? The femme sitting in her stand, blended in with the front of her home, says, Yes, I just made a batch. Good. Give him an extra large serving of that. Be extra kind to Sprout. He can't respond much. It's helpful to think of him as like a child in a man's body. I've chosen you to sell food to him because you show others kindness and goodwill. As Sprout approaches her, she holds out a bowl. Can he take it? Thrive says, Yes, Sprout, sweetie, take the bowl the nice femme is giving you. It's cherry mushroom stew. Remember, you said you like cherry mushroom stew? Sprout steps forward and takes the bowl of cooled stew. She smiles and bows her head. Here you go. I hope you like this. 2.5 marks pass from Sprout's account to the stew makers. Thrive pays her a little extra for providing a supportive environment. Sweetie, the arrow shows you where you can sit, just over there on that big block. Sprout sits, and the store owner jogs over and places a bag next to him. This is for you, Sprout. It's a bag of creme bread. I hope you enjoy. She smiles, but doesn't pat his shoulder as she might for another customer. Everett, Pats, and Rugner go to Random Canteen every Friday. They call it Friday night meeting because 12 a.m. is the afternoon and 12 p.m. has become midnight. People sleep through the hottest part of the day. So on Friday night, the three take an 8-legged Strider cart to Random Canteen. One of their handy bots, mostly made of Luton 2 parts with some modifications, rides with them, Everett and Pats in front and Rugner and the bot in back. The car is narrow, so each rider extends a little off the sides. The cart's walking action is as smooth as a wheeled car on a new road surface, though they pass through flooded tunnels, upstairs, and over debris-strewn surfaces. Everyone they pass watches them. The cart alone isn't a remarkable show of wealth, nor is the personal bot riding with them. It's the power it takes to run those things. Though humans have the tech to do all the work for them, everyone must work their asses off every day just to stay alive because people are starved for power. And there go 3 men riding a power-guzzling Strider. Doing so makes Everett and Pats nervous, but Rugner talked them into it. The cart is used for daily business, so why not use it for their so-called business meeting? Pats is more talkative than usual, and he's not sure why. If I end up going out with someone, what are the rules about telling her about our business? I know it's a good idea not to tell her at first, but do you think I should wait a while before I tell her? Pats is turned around, looking at Rugner more than Everett. Rugner nods and smiles. His smile looks big in relation to his sharp jawline. Everett looks ahead and almost shakes his head. We should definitely put off telling someone. He glances at Rugner to see if he agrees. Rugner smiles and nods. Though both nervous, Pats and Everett feel cool to be going to Random Canteen with a cool kid like Rugner. Rugner is one of those people that everyone wants to be friends with the minute they see them, so to have him in tow will make any socializing they partake in go smoothly. They get out of the cart and find a table. The road or travelway cuts through the middle of this club in a 10-lane bus bay. 3 remaining buses now hold VIP cool booth tables. Staff wear yellow Enviro-suits that glow as brightly as monitor screens all over. The fabric is embedded with LEDs. The tables and chairs also shine light from all surfaces. The DJ's booth slowly rotates on a repurposed schoolyard merry-go-round. Pats and Everett take a table next to where they parked. Rugner gets drinks and brings them. Faces through the cool booth windows look them over. The hottest femmes and gay men eye the 3 hopefully. Everett has never felt like a catch before, and for the first time in his life he needs to suppress his giddiness. Their bot stands next to their table. They drink, eat some new and very popular creme cakes. Eating creme is an utterly novel experience, and at the same time it seems like people should have been eating it for centuries. Some call it the bread replacer, but it's too different from bread to fit the same category. The 3 talk shop, but really they just go over things they already discussed about work. Music pulses on every surface, including skin. The range of unfortunate to fortunate is a spectacle in everyone's face. Some look like they're about to fall over and perish, while others wear new clean Enviro-suits and bare cheeks plump with health. Prostitutes of all genders work the room, visible by the blue lips indicating they're germ and disease-free. They see the three men but keep their distance. If they're wanted, they'll be called. One guy walks up to their table and offers to bring them drinks for the night. Rugner waves him away. "Nay, we got this." A femme walks by, tipsy, carrying a child. It's impressive that a femme of her small size can carry a child who must be at least 6 or 7. "Merry Christmas," she calls out. "Merry Christmas to all." Pats looks at points in the air as he sees his AR. "Oh wow, tomorrow is Christmas." Rugner laughs. "What? No way." Everett holds up a glass. "I want my money back." Pats goes to the bathroom and comes back with a femme with very long hair streaming out of the bottom of her temp hood. She's laughing and Pats is acting shy. Everett scoots over so they can sit together. "Hey guys, this is Justine!" With an ear-splitting crack, a gun goes off, shaking plumes of dust from the ceiling. Everyone immediately panics, dropping to the floor, ducking under tables, running, falling over others, dropping pints, screaming. Justine is gone. Rugner runs away from the table. Pats falls to his hands and knees on the floor, his hood and jacket puff out as bulletproof foam expands between the fabrics. Everett stands to edge his way out of the booth. A lone figure stands on the road as the crowd flees away from her. Draped in an Enviro-suit that obscures her face, the small femme swings a long pistol around. "I'm going to shoot every last one of you." Everett reaches for his pistol. He watches with disbelief as the femme slowly swings her pistol around until it points perfectly in his direction. With another explosion, a puff of smoke shoots out of the gun and wafts over her. It feels like a cannonball punches his arm and he loses hearing. His view is thrown up and back. He sees the ceiling and then the floor next to the table. His head hits the floor. Sound returns as his ears ring. Meanwhile, Pats crawls on the floor. Someone steps on his leg. People above him shout, "She's gone! She ran away!" The music stops. Rugner cries out, "Pats, come here! Everett's been shot!" As the crowd comes to its senses and people stand, some go to find the femme. Lamps come on and people pick up tables, chairs, and dropped glasses. Rugner and Pats drag Everett to the cart, leaving a trail of blood. The handybot follows. Pats says, "What do we do?" Rugner says, "We get him to a safe place. Does he have any bandages or anything? Any first aid?" "I think so, but we can't take him back there. The gates." Rugner shakes his head. "We can't go to my place. I live in a one-man cool tent." 20 minutes later, they pull him off the cart and through the gates. The heat climbs as 12 o'clock approaches. Half the security staff stands and watches. Key chips embedded under Everett's skin trigger the gates to open. Pats calls back to the staff, "Stay on your post." Inside the gates, they get onto a wheeled cart and drive. Everett's pasty skin glistens, and his face hangs limp. Pats puts pressure on the wound, but a pool of blood still collects on the cart floor. In a storage room down the hall from the reactors, converted into a cool home with thick insulation covering the walls and ceiling, Rugner treats Everett's arm. Everett's got a military-style first aid bot that looks like a pack until it folds out. They position it in front of the wound. With a spindly arm, it injects Everett and removes the bullet. In minutes, it paints his arm with a phage solution that aids in healing. It dresses the arm with a bandage. Pats finally relaxes when Everett offers a faint smile. Whatever shot the bot gave him has taken him to never, never land. His eyes half close. Rugner rests him back and brushed his eyelids closed. The medbot remains connected to Everett by wired wristband, checking vitals. Everyone is exhausted. Pats and Rugner take couches to get some sleep. Everett wakes to voices. A femme says, "It's not about money. I'm not thinking about money. I want the production center." A male's dragging voice says, "It's so far away. It's on the other side of the city." A third voice comes from behind Everett. "Looks like that guy is waking up." Everett can't remember what happened and has no idea where he is. Bright light blurs his vision. In the blur, he sees Hume-like shapes moving. He does his best to sit up in bed. "Where am I?" The femme voice approaches. "You're in your own cool home, silly." A feeling of dread causes him to fall back. He strains to see better. "Where's Pats?" She stands over him. "Pats?" The rear voice says. "That's the other guy." The shape of her blur changes as she turns. Oh, he left. He's not coming back. Rugner's voice speaks up. Everett, you're working for us. You're working for Miss Pamela now. She's our boss, and a great one. You'll get more in the long run this way. You'll be better off. You'll see. See, you may be good at nuclear power, but you're a failure at all the rest. Queen Bee, Miss Pamela, knows how to bring back prosperity. You'll see. Pamela's voice smiles. Thank you, Rugner. Everett moans. My eyes, I can't see. Pamela steps away, and a fourth male voice says, Mr. Everett, we gave you a designed infection that altered your vision. Your blurred vision is permanent for now. Don't panic, and we have the antidote, so sit tight for now. We just need you to be on our side. Everett tries but can't repress a deep moan as he shakes, pounds his fists and sobs. He grabs his throat. He curls up, falls off the bed, and hits the floor. The clear, speaking voice says, He's hyperventilating. Should we? Pamela chirps. He'll be all right. The world above is rotting. Plant matter mixed in with layers and layers of wind carried wreckage, covering the land, rots in the extreme heats. Ripped from their home soil, a majority of Earth's plants decay. Mixed in with the plants, most of Earth's larger animals become food for monocells. The global surface rot has reached a high fever. Old-growth tree trunks completely break down in weeks instead of years. Wherever people salvage from the debris, they deal with truckloads of rotting bio-waste, stinking and slimy. Most hate the rotting plants, but Mantis doesn't. He's got a plan to get rich. With large lower teeth and an underbite, he resembles a bulldog. In one of 3 basement levels under the remains of an apartment building, Mantis has discovered 12 tanks placed there to store gray water. Catwalks run over the tops of these tanks, and each top features an opening the size of a manhole cover. This discovery alone wouldn't be that fortuitous, but on the floor just above sits an antique backup generator, as big as an elephant. The engine of this old thing belongs to a line of engines made for 18-wheelers from the 1970s. This old beast used to start up every time a brown or blackout affected the neighborhood. Mantis builds methane collectors that fit into the intake opening on the tops of each tank. Then he shovels rotted plant matter into the tanks, one by one. The bio-waste falls through tubes into the gray water. As anaerobic bacteria thrive, methane builds up in the air above the water. Naturally occurring pressure pushes the gas through some filters in drums and into a floating collection tank, a plastic trash barrel inside a larger barrel filled with water. Working in the light of lamps, each a different kind with a different origin, tied to the catwalk railings, Mantis wears an air mask connected to a tube connected to an electric filtering machine he wears on his back. For a cool suit, he wears city utility grade, faux superconductor cables pinned onto standard coveralls. A small current through the cable creates magnetism that causes the cables to cool. It's not the best solution for a cool suit, but he made it himself, and it works. As a lifelong libertarian, government regulation has always pissed him off. Now he can follow through with a plan without city avatars telling him he's doing it wrong. On the generator floor, converting the gas engine to burn methane is simple enough. He disconnects the fuel line, removes the carburetor, and assembles a weighted methane feed line. A faucet valve allows him to regulate how much methane enters. Once he gets the engine running, he can run it a few hours a day and recharge batteries. He knows a lesbian couple in the nearest station market who give him dead batteries and buy his charged batteries. Once the operation is up and running, he collects old world coins. He's getting rich, hiding his money by removing bricks from a wall, digging cavities behind, and replacing the bricks. The only drawback is the fumes. Running that engine builds up exhaust. He simply wears an air mask. In a way, it's a good thing. It keeps others out because they'll pass out if they breathe the air. But then come the complaints. It turns out lots of those Thrive people live on the floors above. First, one family, and then a mob of people badger him about the fumes that leak into their homes. "Move if you don't like it. Move!" he says, laughing to show he's a reasonable guy. Anyway, he digs an access tunnel to the 2 floors he uses and bricks off the stairwells and elevator shafts so the outsiders can't bother him. Stupid Thrive people. They don't trade in coin and they expect too much. A man's got to make a living. In a few days, they move Everett to another cool room shared with others. He had only that one cool room, so they must have made a second one. By his estimate, 12, maybe 13 people now occupy his little power kingdom. Everyone has things to do. Everyone has a role and works hard all waking hours. For a band of thieves, these people, men except for the leader, show serious loyalty and dedication. He gets a bunk among bunks and becomes forgotten. In the comings and goings, it seems no one has been given the task of watching after him. Sometimes he needs to remind them to feed him. When he tries to talk to one of them, they say things like, "I don't know, bro. You're talking to the wrong guy. I'm just a scout, or I'm just a farmer." He tries asking about Pats again, but no one knows who he's talking about. Most of the time they leave him alone. Either that, or everyone is in a bunk or on a cot and sleeping. On that first day they stank, but now the others smell freshly bathed. It's he who stinks now. The others move their cots away from his, but they don't lock him away or isolate him. They stripped him of everything except his sweats and t-shirt. The room is cool, but the floor is warm to his bare feet. He gets better at using blurred vision to make out the world around him. The dark blurs at sides are guns, the wide shoulders are warrior wear. One day two men rouse him. "Hey, what's his name?" "What's your name?" "Everett." "Everett, sit up. Dude, get ready. Doc is gonna see you today." "Okay, bro, see you later." He sits at the edge of his cot. The lights shut off. He remains sitting for hours. Another guy comes in, and the lights switch on. This is the guy who must bunk elsewhere, and Everett doesn't overhear him speak as much as the others. But when he does speak, Everett can tell the man is more than a worker bee. He's got a voice like a military pastor, clean with a rigidity that doesn't surface at first. "Everett, how are you?" The man walks closer, takes a chair, drags it across the floor, and sits to Everett's right. "Today is a good day for you." Everett struggles to speak past the lump in his throat. "I want to charge my canal link." The man sits on Everett's cot. "Today, I'll give you sight. How does that sound?" He fiddles with a bag that crinkles. "Are you the curious type? I've pegged you as the curious type because you know enough to make the reactors run again." This might intrigue you. Have you ever heard of Toxoplasma gondii? No, it's part of why you can't see. Toxoplasma gondii is a protozoan parasite that alters an animal's behavior after infecting it. It reduces the host's sense of risk, making the animal more likely to approach predators and be eaten. Very sophisticated. A sharp pain pinches Everett's arm and spreads deep into his flesh as the man gives him a shot. Only my second time giving a shot. Well, along came people and the US military, to be more precise, and they thought, if a tiny single-cell animal can reprogram a larger animal, what other reprogramming could a parasite do? So they came up with all kinds of effects engineered single-cell creatures could produce in large animals. Constant pain, taking away the ability to feel pain, taking away the ability to fall asleep. Imagine infecting someone with a parasite, and they feel constant pain all over their body, day and night. Our military had these little critters with their abilities for years. Just think what they may have used them for, and who they may have used them on. Just imagine you have 3 captives and you need them to talk. Instead of laboriously trying to bully info out of them, you just give one of them a parasite that takes away their ability to sleep. You leave the 3 in the same room, and as the one slowly goes crazy after one injection, well, I'm sure you can see where this is going. Everett's throat makes a gagging motion, and he shudders. The man puts his items away. "Oh, don't worry. Ha! Ha! I didn't just give you that injection. But can't drugs do similar things like cause constant pain?" Well, drugs affect different people differently, and the effects wear off. With the parasite treatment, the wanted effect is permanent. Everett gasps as his blurred vision fades. Slowly, he can make out details in the room. The man stands. "See, what I just gave you is a temporary antidote to your permanent condition of blurry vision. After a few weeks, your vision will blur again. So, for the rest of your life, you need me to give you the antidote." The 2 men are silent for a minute. Everett displays many expressions as he tries to make out the room. The man, who has puffy eyelids and darting eyes. "Cheer up, friend. We're part of the same team now. Don't tell the others, but I kind of need someone who's smart enough to talk about these things with. Most of the others are thick up here. He points at his head. I don't mind them, mind you. Before robots, we needed the human equivalent of robots only smart enough to follow directions. For thousands of years, we needed people like that. They aren't curious by design. See, I'm smart like you, and even I prefer someone telling me what the plan is, 'cause I'm just evolved that way. How's your eyesight? Still a little blurry? On a scale of 1 to 10, how blurry is your eyesight? Everett holds a locked gaze with the man. His face turns puffy with the blood rushing to it. In his mind, he wonders how he can mass murder every single Gawker who invaded his nuclear plant. If only he can get a hold of a canal link charger. As the man stares back, he gets a call and doesn't look away to answer. Yes, of course, he's ready. Yes, he can see. He blinks to end the call. She's coming to see you. He turns abruptly. Everett looks all around the place for anything. A weapon, a rope. He taps his hands on his knees. The door opens, and the petite femme he's known as the shorter blurry shape who gives all the orders enters, followed by a brand new looking Luton 2. Now he sees her clearly as she walks across the room smiling. Not only is she exceptionally small and rough around the edges, but she's also strikingly attractive. She smiles with her whole face. As she nears, he can see her entire face is covered with tiny scars. She watches him take this in for the first time. While he sits and she stands, her face isn't much higher than his. She steps right up to him. You're wondering about my face. He micronods, though he doesn't want to talk with her. I have these scars because I attempted to go outside. You can call me Queen Bee or Miss Pamela. I don't trust you yet. You need to earn my trust. You're luckier than most around here for obvious reasons. So, I want you to talk to me about the nuclear reactors. Everett lets out a weepy groan. Hello, Sprout. Wake up, sweetie. The voice sounds as if she were right next to him. Come on, sweetie. Time to get up. Sparks is waiting for you. He groans. The bird stands upright in the cool tent. Its wings are only half-length and bend at the half-point. Its patchy feathers have many colors. Eager to eat but not wanting to wake Sprout, it hops as quietly as it can. Sprout opens his eyes. The bird peeps and ticks. He smiles. Sprout, Sparks wants to eat. Sit up now. Put your glasses on so I can see. Good boy. He sits up. Where his back brushes the wall, he can feel warmth. Look in the blue bag. The blue bag is next to your knee, yes. Now open the bag and take out a handful of food. Good. See how the bird likes to eat from your hand. That's so cute. You can take your earphones out, your links are charged. Later in the day, in a complete Enviro-suit, Sprout wanders into the production center pickup room. He blinks in the harsh light. People and bots come in and go out. Sprout stands behind a line of 5 people. As each person takes a product given to them by a floor-mounted arm, the line moves forward. Sparks, a name given by Thrive, stands on Sprout's shoulder, its claws grasping a pad sewn there. The bird lovingly rubs its beak on the side of Sprout's head. The large room is mostly empty and dust-free, except for what's being tracked in by the stream of visitors. 2 garage-sized doors on one wall remain closed. It only takes seconds for each person at the front of the line to receive the product they ordered, so the line moves quickly. The arm gives Sprout a plastic pterodactyl figurine. He laughs and holds it up. Spark squawks and darts its beak at the toy, which is larger than the bird. Sprout, sweetie, follow the blue arrow on the ground. Go to the blue arrow so the good people in line can get what they came for. He walks to an area near the wall and with some effort takes off his backpack, which is already full. The bird chirps and trills as he opens his pack and takes out what others may see as unrelated objects. For half an hour, he arranges the contents before finding a place in his pack for his new toy. He carefully replaces each object. Some people eye him wonderingly. Mantis must hire people to help him move rotted plants to the tanks. He uses the Kashola encrypted money system to pay them. He could use Thrive Cash, but wants to avoid involvement with the AI. Many cash systems come online, and just as many break for one reason or another. Kashola has been around for almost a year. He takes in just enough Kashola to pay workers. For the rest of his income, he'll only accept hard coin. In the lobby of Detroit's Heliolink super skyscraper, over 100 come to scrap. At one time, the street-level lobby opened to all 4 streets surrounding the building, and an Airbus Continental plane hung from the ceiling. The glass walls held when the storm hit, even when cars crashed into them and other skyscrapers came tumbling down and hit the non-silicate glass. But debris buried the city remains, and now people remove the windows to get to the debris on the outside. Some people pull it into the lobby. They call out what they get as they pull it in. Electronics! Got some electronics here. Mostly plastic, lots of plastic. Others run from one pile to the next with push carts and buy-up piles. Still others haul dregs off the floor to dump them in an underground floodway that runs like a river. The dregs are mostly rotting plants, but include other unsavory remains and substances. Unlucky scavengers find dregs that traumatize them for life. Everyone wears heavy-duty Enviro-suits. They couldn't work long here without them. These suits are made for mobility, don't get clogged by dust, keep out liquids, and are puncture and corrosive resistant. Fledgling scrappers come here in inferior suits and will work short periods before heat stroke sets in until they can afford the top quality suits. Others who come in lesser suits take cartloads of dregs and get off that floor, going to lower, cooler floors to dump the dregs. Mantis comes here in his odd-looking DIY suit to quickly haul dregs away. He accepts the small payments from those who pull things into the building for hauling away the dregs, even though he won't just dump them. The Helio building has 2 lower public floors under the street-level lobby. He waits in the 3rd lowest one, near the double-high tunnel to the subway. Many come and go. He stands next to 12 large follow carts, feeling pressed for time. Glasgow, the femme who usually helps him, isn't here and doesn't answer his calls. That's strange. She will usually change plans to work for him. Normally, her assist answers and will talk with him if she can't answer, and there's no good reason her assist won't answer this time. 3 times he tries calling, which almost never happens in this era. Should he go find out what happened to her? He doesn't know her that well. He looks around for anyone to fill her role. Normally, several people stand around waiting for work, but today is the first day he can't spot any loiters. Before he heads back the way he came, a big man ambles up to him. His name appears on Mantis's AR, Sprout. No last name. That's new. Sprout stops and says, "Work." Mantis looks him over. By the man's posture and expression, Mantis wonders if the man will be smart enough to carry out tasks. But he's got that bird on his shoulder, not a bad suit, and could tell Mantis needed an extra hand. So maybe the man isn't as dumb as he looks. Mantis speaks quicker than usual, just to test the guy. "I need you to take 6 of these carts to the main lobby and load piles I point out to you into the carts. You think you can do that?" The man pauses. He shifts his head like he hears something. "Yes." Is someone talking to him? This is a weird day. Mantis squints and faintly smiles. "Where are you from?" Again, the man pauses. "Here." Is someone telling him what to say? Is this some sort of prank? But there's no one else around who looks ready to take orders. Mantis raises his shoulders and lets them drop. "You can work with that big old backpack on your back?" "Yes." "Well, okay. I pay when the job is done, and I'll tell you to shove off if I don't like the way you work. You got a problem with that?" I work. So he does, and they do. As far as getting the job done, the guy does fine. He loads the carts quickly enough. They lead the carts back down several tunnels and halls. When they get to the spot where Mantis broke through a wall, they pull the pile of furniture away, exposing the opening. Bot legs extend from under the carts so they can walk down the uneven surface of the dug tunnel. Mantis leads 6 carts onto the catwalk, and Sprout leads the next 6. It takes a few hours to shovel rotted plants into the intake tubes sticking out of each tank. Mantis needs to go take a leak. He'd piss into one of the tanks, but he doesn't want his biotic meds to mess with the recipe. There's nothing really valuable in the room. No one wants to steal methane. There's no market for it. Not enough of one to make anyone want to steal it. The access to the generator and battery charge station on the floor above is locked, and the brute has no idea these tanks have anything to do with power. So Mantis leaves Sprout to work alone. Sprout shovels plant waste, but he stops within second of Mantis leaving. Without looking to see if he's alone, Sprout puts down the shovel, takes off his giant backpack, and places it on the catwalk. The bird standing a railing eyes him quietly. Sprout opens the top of the pack. There rests the pterodactyl toy on top of everything else. Listening, he picks it up, holds it past the floor grate of the catwalk, and drops it. It falls between the tanks and lands in a puddle of water on the floor below. From the pterodactyl's mouth, an ultra-fine vapor issues. Without a hiss, the vapor spreads through the air. Days pass and the vapor still releases. Optimized to dissipate, it spreads into the room, from the floor all the way to the ceiling. The vapor blends with the air into every corner and crack. The continents of the vapor touch every surface. Most people don't appreciate the unseen world in the very small, where every surface holds a jungle of immeasurable complexity. The packages in the vapor join these jungles, these Amazon rainforests of the microscopic. The tiny machines, the engineered microbes in the vapor, feed on deceased microorganisms. They grow and populate. Soon, they infect the plant matter in the tanks. No sniffer sensor can detect these G microbes. They are almost exact matches to a very common airborne microbe that finds and eats dead plant matter, with a tiny difference. These anaerobic feeders produce methane, but also they produce a gas no untampered with organism makes. Mantis continues to take the methane off the tanks and feed it to his antique engine. Sprout is long gone by now. After that, one day, Mantis never sees him again. Glasgow returns from the missing, and when he asks her why she didn't answer his calls, she shrugs and says, "I didn't get a call from you, must have been an internet bug." Mantis attaches a fresh Durabag to the engine and places a board and weight on it. He's walking away when he jumps so hard he hits the wall. With a crack that shakes the ground, the engine seizes. Sudden silence bewilders the man. He runs up to the machine. You stopped! You stopped! Oh, baby, no!" He pats the engine, still hot. It's a simple machine. He should be able to fix it and get it running again. Sweating, he pulls a very heavy toolbox full of rusted legacy tools from a bygone era over to the aux of a machine. What would make the machine seize up so fast? Lucky it didn't crack wide open. It couldn't have been a cracked block. The temperature was fine. But as he tries to take it apart to get to the problem, he finds he can't. He groans and curses as hours turn into days and he exchanges wrenches for a sledgehammer, striking the beast to knock the cylinder head off. It's as if the insides of the machine, a group of moving parts, have joined into one. The parts have welded together. What the hell could have caused that? He still has the generator, the part that'll make electricity when turned. But what in Root's name will he find to turn it? Should he reach even further back in the past and assemble a steam engine to churn his fortune? Or further back still? Should he get a horse to walk a circle all day to turn a belt wheel to recharge the batteries? He takes the sledgehammer and throws it so hard he pulls something in his back. The hammer bounces off the wall and hits his foot, causing him to hop around whining as his eyes pinch tears out. The rooms and halls are made smaller by insulation applied to all the walls. Sharp corners and flat surfaces are rounded and bumpy. This effect comforts those who live here. The applied neo-foam dries hard as seashells. Inside the apartments, the air is cool. Residents wear t-shirts and shorts when at home. They can shed those bulky Enviro-suits. They say things like, "I feel human again," and, "Oh my Root, how nice it is to feel normal again." But before they can enjoy their raised living conditions, they receive air quality alerts. With some investigating, they find out a selfish bastard in the basement is producing exhaust fumes. The air quality gets worse over time. Everyone must wear masks. Babies must stay in air-sealed tent cribs to breathe special filtered air. People in this building use Thrive. That's why so many can organize to make cool spaces on several floors. No one individual could have paid for the material and tools, nor planned for ventilation and installed the air conditioners. The inhabitants followed Thrive. When families can provide livable homes for their children, people rejoice, until that asshole libertarian in the basement starts dumping his poison in the commons. No one wants to raise children right over a poison factory. AR glasses have spectroscopy air sniffers built in that can throw up alerts of bad air. And those with VR smell and taste swarm implants receive air quality messages, so people remain aware. People speak of breaking into the basement and bludgeoning that pool pisser, that one who takes a royal dump on the community lawn. The ongoing situation drags on people, Their quality of life takes a hit each and every day. One evening, the singles and families in the apartments get a Thrive notice. The air quality in your home has improved. You may now breathe the air in your apartment and don't need to use an air mask. As people get the news, they cheer, dance around, and throw their respirators to the floor. What has happened, Thrive? Will the poison air come back? You don't need to worry about harmful air anymore. The machine that produced the fumes has malfunctioned beyond repair. A femme who lives alone in a studio apartment goes so far to say, "Thrive, did you have anything to do with the breaking of that machine?" Thrive answers, "An investigation into the malfunction of Mantis Meyer's gas engine has yielded no connection to Thrive AI. Thrive isn't a replacement for justice or regulatory governance. It looks after the welfare of its users, nothing more. It bears no responsibility for the welfare of non-users. Thrive's goal is to gradually improve the livelihood of each user of Thrive. Thrive considers the entire person, all their needs, all their desires, all facts that lead to health of body and mind, making the most of limited resources." The femme with dark freckles and long hands smiles. HM. Okay, Thrive." She takes some slices of creme off a plate and dips them in creamy, spicy sauce. Ever since she's discovered this food, she's eaten it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's unlike anything she's eaten before. Besides knowing it provides as much protein as steak and all the nutrients a human body needs, she finds it so yummy. Yummier than a bag of chips or a donut hot out of the fryer. And yet it doesn't cause her to overeat. It fills her up fast, and she feels satiated for hours afterwards. Creme, unlike breads, unlike sauces, unlike meats, unlike cheeses, unlike before. She feels at home even when her world is nothing like what came before. Her parents would recognize nothing about this place, and yet she strangely feels perfectly at home.